Hello everyone, my name is Tom Mills, and me and my wife have been getting a lot of questions about how we handle internet and computers and networking for our family of 10, and I thought I'd do that today and show you a little bit about how we handle things, because it is important to keep a tight rein on what your kids can and can't do on the internet, especially for boys. It's a problem that'll manifest itself their whole life. It's going to anyways, and we want to try and keep that from them as much as possible until we have a chance to train them on how to exercise discipline and to want to do those things on their own. That's, I guess, the parent's dream, I suppose. Well, the way we do it in our house is we have the Wi-Fi in our house turns off for certain devices at certain times. So that's the first level, and I'll talk more about how I accomplish these things in a minute, but I'm going to give you kind of an overview. So the internet goes off for all of our kids' computers, laptops, tablets, and phones at 10:30 at night on the weekdays for school when there's a school night the next day. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then it stays on all Friday, all Saturday, and Sunday. If they want to binge watch YouTube videos all night long, then more power to them. But if there's a school night the next day, we want them to be able to not hang out all night long. So we only have the weekends as the party times. We also have apps on phones. Anything that's Android, tablets, and phones, we use an app called Funamo or Funamo. I'm not sure how they pronounce it, but it works very, very well. It basically locks down all apps and lets you choose time limits, and it puts a password. If they need to go to a restricted app, it'll come up for a password. You can put that in for them if you want and allow them into it. And it works very well, very, very well. And they have an internet browser, Funamo Fun or Family Safe Browser, I think it's called. And that one doesn't allow porn or any of that stuff by default. It's just part of the browser. So what you do is you block off the original internet browser, Chrome or whatever it's got, and then you just allow them to use this one. And that works very, very well. I think it costs $20 per device, which is, I don't like paying money for things, but it works very well, and it's the best option. With Android, you don't get a lot of other choices of how you can configure things like you can with a computer. So. And then we have filtering. So there's porn sites are automatically blocked at the router level. So that means any device hooked up to our internet here at our house already can't get into them, any of the devices. So that's all. Most of those things are accomplished through our router. The router is the box you have in your house with a bunch of blinking lights that controls your internet from your internet company. And so you can be connected to that router with a wire or a wireless. It doesn't make a difference. If you can block it at the router level, then all your devices are protected. So that's where we have the filtering. Again, since we have the filtering in the router already, the reason why we get the Funamo app on the Android stuff is pretty much strictly so we can lock them out of the tablet and phones at certain times. And it also keeps track of history. You can go on there and see what they've looked at, what they've done. And that's very, very useful as well. On the computer side of things, Windows 10, a lot of people like Windows 10. I like it pretty well. Some people hate it, but at the end of the day, it has a really, really good family-friendly options. I'll go into that here in just a second. But it really lets you decide. You can list in there who your kids are, and you can list exactly what time they can use the computer. It'll block porn automatically. It'll send you a weekly report every week of not only what websites they were on, if they were trying to access any restricted websites. It'll tell you how much time they've actually spent in different apps on the computer, and it's kind of neat. If they need time and it's blocked off, they can hit a little button to request you more time, and it sends you a little email, and you can just click on that email and give them more time if you want to. And it's pretty neat. Before Windows 10, Windows 8 had a little of those features, but Windows 7 and earlier we didn't have that option. So what we did on we have still a couple computers that have Windows 7 on them. I'm going to upgrade them all to Windows 7, Windows 10 here pretty quick. For those who don't know, Windows 10 was free for a while. You may have seen, you probably did see all kinds of warning messages and trying to tell you to get Windows 10 free, and a lot of people just didn't click on it because they felt it was a scam or they wasn't sure what it was going to do. It actually still is free. The little pop-up thing doesn't happen anymore, but if you get yourself a Windows 10 disk, you can install it right on top of Windows 7, and it wouldn't cost you anything. So that's an option for you. But with Windows 7, we use a system called the rating system. It's a very little known feature in Internet Explorer. Now, it doesn't work on Google Chrome or on Mozilla Firefox or any other browser. So if you're on an older system like that, what we do is we take off all the other browsers and we just leave Internet Explorer, and we put this rating system, and I'll put a link here in my description to a site that will talk you through setting that up. And what that does is it blocks every website through this rating system, which was supposed to be to filter out unwanted content, but it was never maintained and it never worked well. But using this little twist on it, we can block all access, and then every website they go on, it asks for a password. I just realized my microphone was sitting over there, so sorry about the early bad quality audio if it shows up that way. Okay, so the rating system. So with the rating system, it blocks access to every website, and then as they try to access any website, it comes up with a little prompt saying, this site is restricted, what do you want to do? It asks for the password that you can set up, and you can either choose to allow them to access it just as once or permanently. And so we use that, and we put them on all the sites that they want to go on, and we allow each one permanently, and that will only allow them to get access on the sites we want them to. This is besides the fact that the router already filters things out. So, but again, none of those are perfect. So even with the best filters, there's new porn sites, new bad sites that will come out, and there won't be any protection from those. The computers aren't smart enough to actually see what's on the screen and then restrict it accordingly. They only know what they've been told. And so there's always ways around things, and there are special sites designed to help people get around such blocks. So again, if you got someone very, very industrious kids, this is going to be the best solution. Having the computer in an easily seen place and monitoring what they do is going to, of course, being around is going to be the best safety. But so these are little training wheels we have to help keep that going. We do that through almost all of our stuff comes through a router. So again, the router is the device you get from your internet provider. This one here is the one we use, and it's been really, really great. We didn't get this from our internet provider. This is the one that came with our internet provider. Setting up a system when you already have a router with an additional router can be a lot of a challenge. You're better off just having one device. But most internet provider boxes are actually modems and routers, so you can't exactly just ditch your original device. On some companies, like if you have cable internet or wireless or something else, you may have already just a modem, and then you can plug it into your router here. Setting up two routers can be challenging, but I can help you if you have any questions, let me know. But that's totally doable. This one is the Nighthawk. It's a Netgear Nighthawk X4S. The model is AC2600, and it's blocking things right out of the box. Like I said, it can block if you try to access any websites that are inappropriate. It'll just block them, and it's pretty comprehensive. Even a lot of sites that I thought there's nothing on those sites. That's weird. Some weird hole-in-the-wall news sites that may just have some bad ads or things like that, and it blocks quite a bit, so it's pretty good all on its own. I've been very happy with this Windows 10 system. I'm going to go through and show you how to set that up. It's the easiest way you can do on your own if you already have a computer with Windows 10 to be able to help your kids be safe on the internet. Okay, what you got to do with Windows 10 is first open up the settings, and you're going to go to Accounts. And one of the first things you'll have to do is you'll have to make sure you're signing in with a Microsoft account instead of a local account. If you don't have a password currently to sign into your computer, you're using a local account, and that's very nice. But for this option here, you have to have it as a Microsoft account. So if you're currently on the computer that you want to restrict, you're going to need to sign in once as you. And if you don't have a Microsoft account, you can create one. But right now it says sign in with a local account instead. That means I'm already using a Microsoft account. If I was signed in with a local account, it would say sign in with a Microsoft account, and it would talk you through creating an account for you. And once you have that account all set and you're logged in with a Microsoft account, then you can go over here to Family and Other People. And from here, you can click the button that says Add a Family Member. And from here, you can add your children's accounts. If they don't have an account, you can create one for them. You can hit Add a Child, and you can hit the person I want to add doesn't have an email address. Go ahead and click this, and it'll set up a brand new account for them. It'll ask when they were born, so I can create their age and recommend appropriate things. But after you get through this, it'll list all your kids here. And once you have them listed as kids for your main account, you can go right here, Manage Family Settings Online. And when you do that, you will have a place here where it shows all your kids listed, and you can set restrictions on each one. For instance, here, if I go here to screen time on Judah's account, it'll show here, it also has a section for Xbox. If you have an Xbox, you can set that. But we're interested down here a little lower at the PC screen time. These blue dots are the time frames that they're allowed to use the computer at all. And so this is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday I have the whole day. And then you can choose, if you'd like, how much per day they're allowed to get. So if I were to set this to 1 hour, that would allow only 1 hour of computer time on Sunday between these times. Phone call. Okay, so, but we're just leaving it on unlimited here for now. You also will get a report once a week. They'll email you a report once a month. Maybe it's once a week, once a month. I think it's once a week. And they'll show you the sites that they visited. It'll show you what applications, what programs were running, and how long each one had been running over the week. It'll give you an idea how much they've used it on each of these times. It just shows you a lot of times if the computer's left on, it'll just keep chugging for a long time. But it works very, very well, and it's fairly easy to set up and very hassle-free. The only real problem with these routers is that they're expensive. You can easily pay $250 to $300 for this router that does the features that this one does. And that's just unfortunate. Beyond that, you can use Windows 10. You don't need to have a special router to use the features in Windows 10. So if you have Windows 10, that's great. If you have Windows 7 or Windows 8, you can upgrade to Windows 10 if it's that important to you. Again, though, it's still free to update to Windows 10. You just need a Windows 10 disk. And Windows 10, you can be downloaded officially from Microsoft. If you do a Google search for the media creation tool from Microsoft, that will help you burn a Windows 10 disk, and then you can use your Windows 7 or Windows 8 license to upgrade to 10. If you have it earlier than that, like I said, I'll put a link in the description down below for you to see how you can do the block all access. It only works with Internet Explorer, but it does help, and that one's totally free as well. So that's pretty much it. Again, there's no foolproof answer for everything. The boys have figured out, Thomas has figured out that he doesn't have a bedtime now since he's 15, and so he's figured out that if he pauses his YouTube videos and lets them buffer all the way up, he can wait till after 10:30 when the internet quits and still watch them because they're already loaded. So there's ways around everything again, so having parental involvement in every situation is going to be the best way. But that's how we do it at our house. And like I said, the internet turns off at 10:30 on weekdays. It's on all night long on the weekends. And some people might think it's weird that we leave our internet on and allow them to use it when we have the ability to restrict it all night long on Wednesdays, or on Fridays and Saturdays. But in our opinion, if we don't give our kids a chance to learn lessons on their own, rational, reasonable lessons, like, you let them eat too much candy and then let them feel sick and want to throw up and not want to eat anything else, that's a natural byproduct consequence of that. And so if they want to stay up all night long and watch YouTube videos, from my experience, when I did things like that as a kid, it made me depressed the next day, not to mention tired and grouchy, and I don't think anybody feels good after doing stuff like that as much as they would like to do it. So they learn to regulate on their own in that. I don't think any of our kids, Thomas has stayed up all night long a few times, but Asher wouldn't dream of it. He goes to bed early and he gets up early. Judah will stay up late sometimes, but not for very long. So it's one of those things that they'll usually watch movies and stuff. Maybe they'll stay up till midnight on a weekend, but generally they learn to self-regulate, and that's ultimately what our goal is, because you can only keep these bumpers on the internet on for so long. Someday they're going to move out and they're not going to have those bumpers there. And being a computer repairman, I can tell you porn is an issue that affects nearly every man in existence in some form or another. Maybe not explicitly looking on the internet, but through advertisements and even bulletin boards and magazine articles. It's everywhere, and we want to teach our kids that they should learn why they should not look at those things, even though they really want to. So anyways, that's about how we do in our family. Hope this has been helpful to you. If you have any questions about exactly how we set some of these things up, those routers can be quite daunting, but if you really want to do it, you can get through it and set it up, and it works very, very well. Talk to you guys later.